Hey, y'all. Welcome to Gabe's Nutritional Health Wellness Podcast, right? Okay. I was thinking, what should I talk about today? I'm thinking we could talk about, I don't know, I like to tackle a variety of topics. And when I tackle a variety of topics, makes things easier, better, and well-rounded. I have my specialties and what I focus on, but to understand the body as a whole, right, you gotta understand systems. The body has many systems, of course. And I guess for right now, we'll talk about, energy, ATP, mitochondria, glycogen, and muscle. So, I guess for this podcast, we'll talk about, muscle and exercising and factors at play for, you know, the benefits of exercising, right? Though I'm not a personal trainer or anything, not a physical therapist or some kind of coach or something, but I do like to study the physiology of the body. As a nutritionist, it's important to understand physiology so it can help people, right? So, okay, yeah. January, right, comes around, right? Every year, people make their wish. They gladly make a New Year's resolution, and it's always yo, let's go to the gym. Let's get fit. Let's get healthy. Lose weight. Let's exercise, right? And like that, people are gung ho about it. But people go about it the wrong way. And the reason people go about it the wrong way is because, first of all, if you're living a sedentary lifestyle, eating garbage foods, you don't get enough sun, and you're probably deficient in certain nutrients, right? Like B1, like magnesium, potassium, sodium, right? Your electrolytes. And to an extent, protein. I feel like a lot of people are not eating enough protein for some reason. I don't know why when I look at the average meals, right, that are high carb, low fat, they tend to be very low protein at the same time, right? So I feel like as people tend to eat a high carb diet, they're also lacking from low protein. So I think often that's a thing that goes unnoticed. So we can realize if you're one of those people still on a high carb diet, low fat diet, you're still worried about things like that. Okay, try increasing your protein. That may help a lot. You increase your protein, you eat less carbs, you feel a bit better, blood sugar more balanced. Because if your blood sugar's too high and erratic and not balanced, then you're gonna have sugar crashes and whatnot. But getting to the point, right? So people enter the gym, they're unhealthy to begin with, and they think the only way to get strong, right, to get the muscles, to look good, get shredded, lose all that weight, is to exercise. Now, to an extent, that's partially true. And I've been trying to understand the myth. Because I've seen people just do exercise without the diet and they don't look any better. Anytime, I was going to be a lawyer one time, right? But I figured not. I like nutrition better. It's fulfilling for my life. So understand, the legal stuff. And I've noticed when people do an exercise program or they're going to go into a, coaching program or they do some kind of program, right? There's always a legal disclaimer they put, right? So get the new, I don't know, exercise bike, the one people go crazy, the Peloton, right? Or you get tonal, or you get something to help you exercise, right? Some unique gadget, machinery. They always tell you in the commercials, or there's a little blip in the bottom in really tiny letters that's difficult to read. But it's always disclaimer. This is them because they use this product and they changed their diet, and it's always the diet, right? So maybe 90% of your body will be composed by how you eat and what your diet is, and then the remaining 10% will be, exercising, right? To get you more shredded, to have the definition and the muscle physique a person would seek. So knowing this, right, you go into the gym, don't expect it to be that way. That 90% comes from diet. So change your diet first. Listen to my podcast. Go carnivore, go keto, find a mixture. If you're vitamin A toxic, be my client. It's a hard one to navigate. But you go to the gym, and you must understand, right? Your muscles have something called glycogen, and glycogen is the fuel for your muscles. And like I said, if you're a sedentary person, you're unhealthy, don't have a lot of effective mitochondria. Um, the term for this was called uh, a senescent cell, right? Basically, a cell operating at low capacity. So some people may have mitochondria operating at low capacity. So get healthy, change your diet, intermittent fasting, that kind of stuff. That can help you with your zombie cells, aka the senescent cells. So when you first start going to the gym, right? Start light. Don't go crazy. People go fucking ham, and it backfires. People feel tired, and they become lethargic, and they're just doing too much. You can't just go 0 to 100 real quick, right? If you do, you're not gonna have a good time. Now, when you're exercising, ideally, you should be doing something you enjoy, right? For some people, it may be cardio. That's cool, that's fine. But always recommend adding some strength training. For me, strength training is first and foremost. It helps your muscles get bigger, gets them stronger, of course, if you like that. Second factor no one ever talks about for some weird reason, and what's his name? The guy, I like him a lot. The osteo strong guy, the X3 bar guy, right? Fuck, what's his name? Dr. Jazic, or Jasek, right? How do we say his name? Cool guy, like him. He talks about how when you exercise, right, you need this tension, you need this thing there, right, as you're exercising. And this resistance gives you the muscle, right? It also helps you with your bones. So if you have weak bones, brittle bones, this mechanical stress load as you exercise, right, when you lift weights, it actually helps your bones get stronger and tells your body, hey, there's resistance here. So besides getting bigger muscles, let's strengthen the bone. Because of course, right, it's called skeletal muscle. Your muscles are attached to your bone. So in essence, they kind of work together. So start off lightly. Don't go crazy. Don't overdo it. Don't do Tabata or high intensity interval training. That's something for advanced people. Don't do fucking like P90X or the more insane stuff, where people just go ham and they're tired. You don't want to be tired. You want to finish knowing, your muscles are, a good bit of stress, a good bit of recovery. You don't want to feel dead. Because if you feel dead, you're going to be dead, right? We got to learn how to train right in a proper way where we don't feel defeated. We feel good afterwards, right? If you feel bad after exercising, then you pushed it too hard. You shouldn't push exercising too hard. Now, exceptions might be for a person who's training for a triathlon or, an Ironman challenge or bodybuilding and that kind of stuff, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the average person. The average person doesn't really care about that. There's health nuts physically who will do that kind of stuff. That's cool. That's fine. Not a problem with that. Long term, it can be problematic. Read some studies, and for some reason, they don't live as long. Because we also gotta not forget that you're putting your body through quite a strain when you do these intense exercises. So, like I say, you start light, you're barely in your infancy of working out. And like everything, it takes practice. And your body must adjust to this new change in your life, known as exercising. So whether it's cardio or strength training, a good mixture of both with a little more strength training would be better. Just because the studies have seen people that do strength training, they keep their lean muscle mass, and then they're able to keep off, burn some fat. Unfortunately, when I look at people that only do cardio, for some reason there's a tendency for people to lose weight. They lose a lot of weight, which is good, right? but at the same time, you're losing lean muscle mass. You really don't want to lose lean muscle mass. You want muscle. Muscle's good. Some people like there's like Mike Mutzel, there's Gabrielle Lyon, great people. You should listen to them and talk about a muscle-centric approach to your nutrition, to your health, to your wellness. And as I ramble on, people need to understand that exercise is a good thing. If you're a person who's just repulsed by exercise, there's a lot of things to try, you know? I mean, I'll be honest, right? I'm not an exercise person. I personally, because I'm lazy in my exercise, maybe exercise 1 to 4 times a week, and I don't really go too much on it. But for that reason, it's why I got an X3 bar. I like that. It takes me 15 minutes to do a workout. If you're interested, look it up. It's interesting, you know. I've seen a lot of benefits in a short time, and that's because I'm not a big, swole, strong guy. But I feel better afterwards. But, you can't go too hard. So, if you're a person who's trying to increase your glycogen to lift more weight, to have more energy in your muscles, to get bigger muscles, to get stronger, you need to do something where, damn, what's it called? I'm sorry, guys, I'm not a personal trainer, but you basically want to train to failure, right? You want to train to the point where you can't go anymore. Like you're done, your muscles done, right? But you don't want to blow it out, right? You don't want to push until like you're beyond that limit. You want to push until you just can't go any longer, right? And at that point, that tells your body, okay, work on your glycogen, work on your muscles, make them stronger, repair them. Energy to the muscle is good. Now, understanding this, I think I know why people mess up nutrition and why they might mess up exercising, and why we get this weird notion that you should exercise to lose weight, as doing it before a focused approach on nutrition. The logic is, and it took me a while to understand it because that was kind of dumb, in my opinion, of course. It makes sense, but you have theory, then you put things in practice, and then sometimes theory doesn't work well in practice because that's called reality, and then it's not practical, and at the point, a theory should be disposed of. But physiologically, on the mechanical side, it makes sense, but it's not as efficient as we hoped it to be. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about people that say, oh, just exercise a ton every day, all day. So you deplete your glycogen, and your body has to go through lipolysis, which is when you break down body fat to make energy, and then the energy is then converted all the way into your cells, right? Your glycogen. And then they're trying to say, right, you lose fat because you're using that fat to make energy for your muscles. That's what they're saying, right? Unfortunately, it's not that effective. I don't think it can be effective. I think in that sense, exercising is good if you eat a little too many carbs and you want to burn out that quick energy so you can prevent it from becoming body fat. I think that's a better way to do it, or just don't at all. But I think it might be more efficient for a person who's doing keto, doing carnivore, they're in ketosis, they're in actual fat. I don't like using the term fat burning. You don't burn fat, you utilize your fat, right? So in essence, you basically utilize your body fat through lipolysis for energy, right? For your brain, for ketones, for basic functions. But when exercising, don't fall for that. You gotta remember, 90% of that body is determined by what you eat, what you make in the kitchen. If you focus on the 10%, then it's not a lot of weight to give you in reaching the goals of losing weight. We all want to lose weight, but of course, it's got to be focused on diet. And it's funny because I'll go and I'll read reviews, right? And people who, they buy a machine, they buy a certain, gadget or whatever, exercise stuff. And I'll see people complain or they feel bad, right? That, oh, it didn't work for me. Well, the reason it didn't work for you is because you never changed your diet. And if you did change your diet, you probably didn't change it to the point where you're able to, you know, go through lipolysis to use fat for energy. Some people still eat a ton of carbs, a ridiculous amount of carbs. Uh, for a lot of people, their crutch can be soda. People love drinking soda. For some people, they think they're being healthy. They're drinking like green juices, which is just toxic. It's horrible. Bunch of oxalates, bunch of plant defense chemicals you're drinking down. Spinach, horrible. Kale, never a superfood. I don't know how the hell it got labeled a superfood. I think it's a saying that even got labeled. I mean, spinach, people saw Popeye, and it's a cartoon, right? Remember, it's a cartoon. It's not real. You can't get that strength or protein from eating spinach. It's fucking bullshit. You gotta eat beef. Gotta eat meat. Gotta get actual, real, bioavailable protein that your body can actually utilize and use. Plant protein just isn't there, man. We weren't made for that. If we were made for that, then our ancestors would see to it. That's why you look at the Mongolians and, during the Khanate, we had the Genghis Khan, and they were nomadic. They went all around. They ate a lot of meat. Apparently, they ate horse meat too, which is interesting. Drank milk, and yeah, they grew up big and strong. They're Asians, right? Asians tend to be kind of short, because they eat a diet primarily out of rice and, every now and then some fish and something else, pork, depending on, where they're from. Asia's a big place. But they tend to be small for that reason. But oh man, dude, the Mongols, I mean, there's a reason they did good. There's a reason they expanded. There's a reason why they were great, fearsome warriors. They ate a lot of protein, ate a lot of fat too, and they didn't really eat carbs. They weren't much for farming. And I think that was the game changer. I think they must have been in deep ketosis, very fat adapted, you can call it, and they made their children great warriors because they got to be big and strong, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to be over 6 feet and just naturally stronger, right? Because you fit and supported your diet what you needed, as opposed to their enemies, which were subsistence farmers, grains, that kind of thing. They were weak, pathetic. Their teeth were rotting. They had cavities. It's interesting. I think people are often underlooking how these Mongolian people are they were amazing. They knew what they were doing. And I think from a nutritional point of view, they gave them the edge to, you know, expand to Russia, expand to China, expand east, west, north, south, you name it. They expanded everywhere. So I think it's an interesting perspective of how diet was able to come in clutch to give you the hand against your enemies. And that's why the Mongols were kind of awesome. I mean, they were great conquerors, you could say. But getting back to my point, right? Find exercise you like. I hate cardio. I hate running. I don't do it. Uh, in my opinion, I think cardio can be quite stressing. Humans, I mean, you pay attention to humans and how they adapted, how they lived, our ancestors. When they would hunt animals, they never really like ran, They never really jogged. You ever watch like, I don't know, Friday 13th, watch a Michael Myers movie, Halloween? They kind of did that serial killer walk, they just walk fast. They never ran, they never sprinted, they're just always walking. Because when you walk, you can maintain a lot of energy, and you're not just, you know, blowing through it. So our ancestors kind of had that serial killer walk, They just walked pretty fast, and injured an animal and they kept chasing it, walking like a serial killer, and eventually the animal would get tired, right? And then you get it. I think the only other time humans in history would run, right, in the sense of hunter-gatherers, is when, you know, you're getting chased by a bear or, some kind of gigantic cat or, some predator, right? Then you would want to run. That makes sense. So I think we evolved to look at running as increasing your stress, increasing your cortisol. And I think for some people, when they do a lot of cardio, they have trouble losing weight because they're kind of putting your body into stress. And I think it's really important after you exercise to meditate, calm down, chill, to get your breathing back to normal, get you centered. Because if you exercise and you still feel kind of stressed and on the edge and kind of wiry, then you might need to take a different approach to being more calmer, right? Maybe take some B1, right? B1 can help with that, help you calm, help with anxiety. People need to calm down, right? People need to be able to rest. Because if you don't rest, then you're not going to get the desirable results you see. It's crazy. I would work out every day, right? And, for a short time, I hate working out. I just wanted to test something with my body. So if I worked out every day, I wouldn't ever see benefits. And then I worked out for 2-3 days, would take rest and the weekends off. And man, I could see my benefits. That was nice. So I realized you gotta be calm. You gotta be in a parasympathetic nervous system state, which means you're calm, you're cool, no fight or flight, no worries, or very low worrying. Getting good sleep, of course. Good nutrition, a lot of protein. If you work out a lot and you don't eat like 30 grams of protein per meal or more, then I kind of think exercising is a big fucking waste of time. Well, why the fuck would you exercise and not give your body the protein, the amino acids you need to get your muscle growth, right? I think you need a certain amount of leucine to trigger your muscle synthesis, right? So it's important to, let's see, I think it was Don Lehman. I think Don Lehman was the researcher who talked about muscles and muscle synthesis and what you needed. And he said something along the lines of, you need at least 30 grams of protein to start your muscle synthesis, right? And that's the low point, right? So not 10, 15, 20 grams of protein. It's got to be at least 30 to just start your muscle synthesis, right? So it's important to get sufficient protein, right? I also think he spoke about how your first meal of high protein should be a priority, right? So for breakfast. And in that case, if it's not enough, then when you eat lunch, it's not sufficient enough for muscle synthesis. And then people tend to eat a lot more protein for dinner. And that, of course, would increase their muscle synthesis. So get enough protein, right? If you gotta do a shake, I guess do whey protein. Everything else kind of sucks to an extent. And I recall him saying that if you gonna get more protein in your body, right, from a whey protein shake, you gotta drink it all in 30 minutes so the body can rapidly utilize all that protein. So I find that kind of interesting. If you're a person who's gonna get into working out, these tips could be vital. They could give you the edge. You know, it's always work smarter, not harder. Because how many times you see these guys that are at the gym, right? Like a health influencer, and they look the same for like 20 years. They do the same workouts, same reps, same all that. But when you're exercising, you got to push it a little bit. You always got to kind of push yourself ahead. If you're just doing the same reps, same amount of weight, then you're never progressing. And people need to understand if you want to progress, you always got to put a little bit of weight. If you put a little more weight, put a little more into it, then of course you're going to see small, gradual, incremental benefits. If you don't do that, then you're gonna see the same, right? You're gonna maintain. I think that's fine if you have a physique you like and you don't want to get bigger or stronger, or you just want to maintain yourself. That's fine. I could respect that. But if you're one of those person, a guru, a influencer, them kind of people, then I get questionable, right? Of course, never take anabolic steroids, never take these kind of things. Don't do that. If you're fasting way too much, you could also possibly may impact your muscle gain. If you want muscle gains, as they talk about, trying to do intermittent fasting, maybe on the weekends. But just know, there's a lot of factors at play when you're trying to gain muscle and lose fat. I was thinking about something right now, and it kind of got my eye, and that was women, right? So this part I'll give to the women, give to older people, and about the importance of exercising. And none of that cute cardio bullshit. Women don't do cardio. Please don't. You need strength training. You need to lift iron. You need to pick up weights. Because for some reason, a lot of women, when they get older, they get osteoporosis or osteopenia, and they have bone problems more than men. Men tend to, lift weights, whereas somehow lifting weights isn't a feminine thing for a woman. But if you're a woman, you're not going to turn into Mr. Olympia. You're not going to turn into Arnold Schwarzenegger or the various bodybuilders who died in like age 50 because bodybuilding is kind of unhealthy. They don't live long. It's unfortunate, and when they do live longer, they change their lifestyle completely because they understand the detriments of you know doing the steroids and the drugs and all that to get this physique to win a little trophy. Women, don't worry about that. You're not going to get ripped and swole. If genetically you're kind of like that, then go easy. But most women are sweet, cute, delicate, dainty. But you don't want to have dainty bones. You don't want weak bones. You don't want weak muscles. You need to maintain good muscles and bones by strength training. You want to age gracefully. And old people listening, you want to age gracefully too. It's never too late to start being healthy. Old people need to exercise. It should be a requirement at this point in history because we know that exercise, of course, gives you more muscle, and then exercise gives you stronger bones. I don't know why people act like it's such a miracle. You see a person in their 90s and their hundreds, and they're still walking around like, wow, how do they do it? Well, first of all, a person that old doesn't eat crap. A person that old, they eat a lot of protein. They eat their bacon and eggs. They're not afraid of eating beef. That's what they're doing well. Second of all, they're active. They walk around. They're always doing things. They're not used to sitting down all the time. That same generation, they're always doing things. So if you're not that kind of person, at least please focus on exercising regularly through strength training to make sure when you get to that nice ripe old age that you're not in a nursing home, in a diaper, shitting yourself, and embarrassingly need to be cleaned. By exercising, you may possibly avoid that, hopefully, right? Now, there's certain things I can't say, of course, because I'm not a doctor. I'm not a physical therapist. I'm not a personal trainer. I'm just a nutritional therapy practitioner. And of course, I can't say I cannot cure, I cannot treat, I cannot diagnose, I cannot do any of that. But I can educate you on nutrition and the physiology of the body and how it relates to our muscle health. So knowing this, please try and exercise more. And don't go crazy, start lightly, Give it time. Give yourself every 3 weeks. People need to know that it takes 21 days to build a new habit. If you can build a habit in 21 days, then awesome. It becomes a part of you. And at that point, you don't even know it's a part of you. It's just natural. So, it's important to end bad habits and build new habits. Because humans are habitual creatures. We're habits people, you know? That's just the way we are. Sometimes we do things for so long and we question it. We then realize, oh man, I didn't know I had this habit. But people who know you, friends, family, can tell you your habits better than you can sometimes. Because sometimes we're just so oblivious to what has become a part of us. So, add a new habit, get rid of old habits. Add habits that are good for you. Bad habits where, you can exercise a little bit, you know, once a day. That might be too much for some people, which is fine, understand. Life is busy. We have children to take care of. We have families, spouses, running businesses, whatever have you, right? But it's hard to at least exercise 1, 2, 3 times a week, right? And to the best of your ability. And don't go ham, just do enough where you feel good, okay? And yeah, I guess this will be a rather short podcast. I don't really know anything else to talk about. I mean, it's very cut and dry. I'm very straight to the point. I'm not the kind of guy who leaves you dragging for a long time. You talk to me, you ask me something, I give you an answer. And yeah, that's all I can do, man. So, please, if you would love nutrition advice, go to my website, book an appointment for, whenever it's convenient for you, and I'll be there to give you guidance on your health and wellness. And that's it. Thank you, and have a great, amazing day.